Okay. Tell me the story about how you think Harry Truman is your brother's father. Explain that to me. Tell me what you think happened.
He, Mama went to work for him because she was a teacher. She graduated uh, about 3 or 4 grades earlier than everybody else.
Okay, but how did so your mother Blanche, she went to work for Harry Truman,
Yeah,
and he was a state senator at the time.
yeah,
So he was a state senator at the time, and he became president right after towards the end of World War II, 1945, right
yeah.
when FDR had a stroke and he died, right? So he was working, she was working for him, but you say that he forced himself on her, and she got pregnant by Harry Truman,
Yeah,
Harry S. Truman, president of the United States. Yeah. And what kind of work did she do for him?
she's a stenographer.
So it's stenographer and maybe a secretary.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but you think he forced himself on her? Did she ever tell you what what happened? Did she tell you that he did it?
she never directly. She said something about uh, she slipped and fell down the stairs because uh, she had been fired.
He fired her.
Yeah,
Why did he fire her?
he fired her
Why did he fire her? Do you know why he fired her?
because she wouldn't put up with his. Uh,
Oh, was his aggressive behavior and
yeah,
so? But would you call it? What would you call it? Would you call it rape? Would you call it just forcing himself on her, which is basically rape? And that's what he did to her. But she never acknowledged. She never came out and said, "Well,
no,
she wouldn't openly tell you. She wouldn't give you that information."
right.
Yeah. And so, but does your brother Harry? Does he look like Harry Truman? Yeah. What does Harry? Does Harry know about that? And what does he say about it?
Hmm?
What does your brother say about that?
He didn't. He didn't mention knowing that Harry S. Truman could be his father.
But of course,
He never said that, but he kind of alluded to the fact that uh, my mother was on the day that she fell down the stairs. There was an argument.
was he trying to get her to have an abortion or something? And I mean is that why you think maybe he fired her because she wouldn't have an abortion or whatever or end the
Yeah,
pregnancy and because he didn't want the proof. He didn't want her to finally come back and be able to say something about it and
yeah. Cause see, he was already married to what's her name? Uh, his first marriage. Harry S. Truman. And the S stands for Samuel.
I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look that up. But but you're positive that there's a very good chance that he could be that Harry S. Truman, the president, could be your brother's biological father. Yeah. And you say he looks like Harry S. Truman?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've met Harry maybe once, maybe twice, but I don't. That was many years ago, and I don't remember how. I don't remember what he looks like. I mean, it's been a long time, but you're confident that that information is true.
I am.
Well, I mean, he's got a son and he's got two daughters. So I mean, there's
He had pictures on the wall, and you could tell that they uh, belonged to Harry S. Truman, and he once pointed to the wall and he said, "I've got you up where I can see you all the time."
because obviously that's not something that a president or a congressman at that time would have admitted to.
Right.
He would have just he would have denied it. I mean, back in those days, you wouldn't have really been able to prove it absolutely. I mean, a blood test could have pointed you in the right direction. Like maybe, okay, yeah, it's a possibility. But now with DNA, all you'd have to do is get a relative, is get a relative of his,
Uh,
like one of his kids, one of his children.
yeah, there was a child named Joe, and he committed suicide.
Who was Joe?
I think Joe was great grandmother, great grandmother's first child.
And whose father? Whose father? Was Harry S. Truman? Was he the father of that child? Who was the mother? Who was the mother of that?
Of Joe,
Yeah.
uh, I don't remember what great grandmother's name was, but it's bound to be an Allen derivative.
And Alan is a relative of yours. Is which was Grandma's maiden name before she got married, right?
Yeah,
And so her last name was Allen before she got married, right? That was her maiden name, right? Wow. It'd be interesting to be able to find that out. Find out if
they've got it uh, buried so deep.
well, yeah, there's going to be a cover up, obviously, because even now, 80 years after the fact, and Harry's older than you, your brother's older than you, so that's more than 90. So he'd be 92, right? He's what 10 months older than you.
Yeah, Lucille was born 10 months. No, I was born 10 months and 22 days. That's the separation between Harry and me. And Lucille uh, fa- appeared right in between.
And who was Lucille?
Lucille was my aunt.
So that was Grandma Blanche's sister, younger sister. Yeah. Oh, that's and that was yeah. So that's her full blood sister or a half sister. They have the same dad. Did they have the same father? Blanche and Lucille.
Yeah, Blanche, she she stopped teaching school when I was in the second grade. Yeah, I was in the second grade, and she stopped teaching because she wanted to stay home to take care of all three of us kids. Were kind of like a group. Uh, Lucille was one one that would not pay attention, did things her own way, got in trouble with it. She started stealing candy at the
At the store.
yeah, at the store. We would walk down it's with 2.5 miles from uh, where Grandma lived, and it, it is so sharp that there is too much coincidence. The the way he looked, the way he talked, the the way he would strut around. He would say, "I am somebody. I'm somebody. I'm better than you."
And this is Harry, your brother, saying that
Yeah,
because he knew who he because he knew his dad was an important person, or it was rumored to be.
and he then he would say, "You've got just uh, a dumbbell for a father." I said, "No, he's not a dumbbell. He holds the job down. He he worked in a mine, you know, both Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, are uh, all dug out underneath the buildings and everything because there's heavy salt deposit,
So it was a salt mine.
and that's where they get uh, during the winter. That's where they would get the salt to put on the roads.
Because of that go kart.